Can I start? Good afternoon. My name is María Cristina, and today I'm presenting That Light Within You. Jin, Jian, Azadi, a young Iranian girl whispers in the mirror, not daring to say it aloud for fear of retaliation. Jin, Jian, Azadi, woman, life, freedom. These seemingly simple words carry a strong desire for liberty and represent a movement with fearless leaders. This phrase has been chanted incessantly by the Iranian women leading the fight for their rights since September 2022, when Gina Mahsa Amini was beaten to death by the morality police for violating the strict dress code. Mahsa was the spark, the fire that lit the flame of revolution. When I encountered these exemplary women during my research, I was awed. They demonstrated how a whole community can gather for the sake of change, inspired only by one act of bravery. A fire inside me was lit. For those women made me wonder, can we eventually become leaders too? I suddenly realized all of us can, no matter who we are. We just need another flame to ignite us. It is my belief that leadership should be shared, transferred, and taught. And I hold to the idea that anyone can be a guiding light. The human rights movement in the Middle East is an excellent example of leadership being shared. But what could sharing leadership truly mean? Sharing leadership is putting yourself out there for others to follow. It has nothing to do with seeking recognition or praise. It's about being able to invite others to join a noble cause. Organizational expert Joe Davis, in his TED Talk about generosity and guidance, states, leadership isn't about role or position. It's about generosity. We need generous leaders, those who can give of themselves freely so others can develop, grow, and thrive at their full potential. I couldn't agree more. A true leader is vulnerable, generates connection. Along with this bond, followers start to appear and with their own courage, become leaders for a cause themselves. Actually, there's a very clear and recent example of this. I'm pretty sure all of you here read the news, right? Scrolling through the New York Times, an article by Victoria Kim caught my attention. Just a few weeks ago, 26 young Iranian soccer players decided to join their sisters back in their homeland by refusing to sing their imposed national anthem at the Asian Cup tournament. This defiant act proves that the Jin Jian is a D message is extremely powerful, and that every day, many women from many different backgrounds are joining the cause, becoming leaders in their own way. This just proves my point. All of us can be guiding lights. We just need the bravery to stand up in unison. That way, we become leaders together. Additionally, the ability to guide others also requires the generosity of spirit to recognize when it must be transferred. I've had the privilege to witness a beautiful representation of this entrustment. At school, we have a beautiful tradition in which, during the installation of the new student council, the past members light a candle of the new coming officers with their own, showing us that it's key to let the new generations take up the torch, knowing when it's time for others to lead. Finally, leadership has to be taught. Today, in a world assaulted by conflict, we desperately need generous and courageous leaders. We must teach the upcoming generations the value of their voice and the immense empathy required to guide, to take initiative, to lead. Education is the key to ignite the fire that lives inside every child. I believe this room is full of leaders. I'm aware that not everyone aspires to lead, though let me tell you, I believe you capable of sharing, transferring brightness, and most of all, of teaching others. Let's take action now so that no Iranian girl has to whisper in the mirror, terrified with the idea of being heard, ever again. Every one of us has the flame of change inside of them, and if my words have stuck to you, never forget that light within you is just waiting to be lit. Thank you.
Thank you, María Cristina. How can you sense the correlation between all those causes of women freedom with the speed of real changes for them?
Can you repeat the question? I'm so sorry.
How can you sense the correlation of all those expressions of freedom that have been done by women in Iranian women and the real changes they have experienced nowadays in life?
I think most of these situations repeat themselves everywhere. Of course, the Iranian women are leading with things that throughout history, a lot of people have gone through before. And right now, during our world, we're facing with not the same problems, obviously, but we do have to confront dangerous opponents. We have to bring together leadership. We have to be a team and become leaders together. That's how I relate it, because they came together. They wanted change. And I think that nowadays, whenever we need change as a community, we have to do the same as those women and bring ourselves together and fight as a whole community. That's how I correlate it.
Okay, thank you.
May I ask a question?
Of course.
You stated that a true leader is vulnerable, right? Isn't that a sign of weakness?
I don't think so. Actually, vulnerability is a way to show your followers, or your teammates, as I prefer to call it, empathy. It's showing them that one is equal to them, and that way, being all the same and being a whole team that can grow together. Actually, another part of the TED Talk I talked about from Joe Davis states an example. There was a boss that every time he didn't know what to say when there was a problem, he left the room. And that was like his custom. He used to do that all the time. But one day, he decided to stay in the room and say, I don't know. I don't know the solution to this problem. And suddenly, with that shownness, I don't know how to say it, of vulnerability, a demonstration of vulnerability, ideas started to burst. It sparked inspiration. And that's why I think vulnerability isn't a weakness at all. It's like the opposite. That's it.
Thank you, Maria Cristina. In your talk, from what I understand, you're encouraging many people to take up, or everybody to take up a position of leadership. Who then follows? Who are the leaders leading?
Yes, I would have expected that question, but my belief actually isn't that everyone should be like the head or the image, the face of a movement, but rather than everyone inside is a leader whenever they choose to follow someone else. Being followers is also being leader in your own way, because you're taking part of a cause. Whenever you're part of a cause, you automatically become a leader. And even if that doesn't mean standing in front of a crowd or directing the next move of a troop, but it does involve a movement that is created together. And for that, you need followers. But in my perspective, those followers are leaders too. So followers are obviously essential. But my posture is that followers are also leaders in their own way.
Okay.